And then we're going to move on to our next heading here in the text is economic indicators. So I am going to, again, continue reading a little bit and leave this on the screen in case you need to have it. And our first question is, how is a country's economy measured? So the strength of a country's economy can be measured by several indicators or signs. One is gross domestic product, or GDP. It is the total value of the goods and services that a country produces. The GDP per capita is the value of products that a country produces per person. Other indicators include income, literacy rate, and life expectancy. So we're going to get a little bit of our information that we need. And number one, how is a country's how is a country's economy measured? By gross domestic product, which is GDP, and that means the total value of goods and services a country produces. So make sure that you have that entire answer there, because you will need to know that definition of GDP. Okay, it talks about other indicators as well, but we're going to focus on that GDP. And then our next question is, what is a developed country? So I'm going to read on. Economies fall in one of two categories. Countries with a high GDP are more developed countries. Most of their economic activity is in the tertiary sector, which is services. And then countries with a low GDP are less developed countries. Most of their activity is in the primary or secondary sector. So a developed country has a high GDP. So that means they have a mix of agriculture, a lot of manufacturing, and service industries. And that part's not specifically in the text, but it's part of what helps you understand what GDP is. And so that means that they're, again, think about that word developed. If they're developed, they have like everything that they need, right? And so then if a country is a developing country, that means that they have a low GDP. So they have little industry. Agriculture is one of the most important industries that they have. And the income per person is generally pretty low. So there's a couple examples here of developing countries. And again, sometimes these are called third world countries. So they have, they may not have electricity. They may not have running water. These are things that could make them have a low GDP, which is a developing country. So a couple examples, Sierra Leone, Cambodia, and Guatemala are developing countries. So obviously a developed country would be the United States. Great Britain would be another developed country. Canada is another developed country. Okay, so there's lots of examples of developed and a lot of developing countries as well. So I will go ahead and pause here so that you can finish if you're not done writing this information.